Whispering Shadows, Part 1. It started innocently enough, just a feeling that I couldn't quite shake off. It was like a shadow lingering at the edge of my vision, barely there but unmistakably real. I dismissed it at first, attributing it to my overactive imagination. After all, moving into an old house in the middle of nowhere was bound to stir up a few ghosts of the mind. The house itself was a relic from the late 1800s, its walls steeped in history and secrets. I had bought it for a steal, and despite its dilapidated state, I saw potential. The faded wallpaper and creaky floorboards had a charm that modern houses couldn't replicate. I imagined myself restoring it, bringing it back to life, one room at a time. But as the days turned into weeks, I began to notice things that I couldn't explain away so easily. It started with the whispers. Late at night, as I lay in bed, I would hear them. Soft, indistinct murmurs that seemed to come from the walls themselves. At first, I thought it was the wind or perhaps the old pipes. But the whispers grew louder, more insistent, and they seemed to form words. Words I couldn't quite make out, but their tone was unmistakable pleading, almost desperate. One night, the whispers woke me from a deep sleep. My heart pounded in my chest as I strained to listen, my eyes wide open in the darkness. The voice was clearer than ever, a woman's voice, begging for help. "Help me," she whispered. "He's coming." I sat up in bed, my breath coming in short gasps. I tried to tell myself it was just a dream, but the fear was too real. I could still hear the whispers, growing fainter now, as if she were moving away. I switched on the bedside lamp, the warm light chasing away the shadows, but not my fear. Determined to find the source, I got out of bed and followed the sound. It led me to the basement, a place I had avoided since moving in. The stairs creaked under my weight as I descended into the darkness. The air was damp and musty, and the single bare bulb hanging from the ceiling cast long, eerie shadows. At the far end of the basement, I saw an old door I hadn't noticed before. It was partially hidden behind a stack of rotting crates. The whispers were louder now, almost urgent. With trembling hands, I pushed the crates aside and reached for the door handle. It was cold to the touch, and it creaked loudly as I opened it. Inside was a small room, barely more than a closet. The walls were lined with shelves filled with dusty jars and old books. But what caught my attention was a mirror hanging on the opposite wall. It was ornate, with a gilded frame that seemed out of place in the dingy basement. As I stepped closer, I noticed something strange. My reflection seemed ... wrong. It moved slower than I did, its eyes wide with fear. And then the whispering stopped, replaced by a chilling silence. I reached out to touch the mirror, and as soon as my fingers brushed the glass, the reflection's lips moved, but no sound came out. Before I could react, the door slammed shut behind me. The room was plunged into darkness, and I felt a cold hand on my shoulder. A voice, much closer now, whispered in my ear, "He's here." Like for part 2.